Jack Stephenson, CTO at UC Workspace here with the second of a two-part series on our new product, WEAV. Now, if you didn't catch the first segment, WEAV is kind of a new product category, and we feel it really moves the needle on the adaptability, inclusiveness, and engagement of your meetings. We're going to be announcing WEAV at ISC next week. So before I get into the demo, let's talk a little bit about my environment here. I have a laptop, which would represent someone bringing a laptop to a meeting room. And I've got the big screen here with the WEAV host application running. I've got a SkyCam that's going to be shooting down as I cycle through a lot of different devices today. And that reminds me of another theme that we had in the first installment. And that's one size doesn't fit all, which is really at the core of WEAV's approach to technology. So we take heterogeneous technologies and, as I say, we make the technology work together so you can work together. Very core to WEAV, and I'll be stressing that again and again. Well, let's get going here. I'm going to kick off what we call the WEAV participant application, hub application, participant application. It's running on Windows, but we have it on Android. I'll show it to you on, and we will have other platforms in the coming months. So a couple things have happened here that of note. It started out, it's went out and said, hey, are there any meeting rooms nearby? And it's found one, which happens to be this meeting room. But we use a number of technologies to do this. One size doesn't fit all. Ultrasonic, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi direct, UDP beacons, a whole host. As a user, you don't know what happened, but our hope is that if we have enough technologies at play, one of them will catch. So let's join our meeting. And when we do, we see I get a tile up there with my initial in it, and that's great. Now, what can I do once I do it? Well, a typical thing to do would be to share a screen. And certainly we do that, but we do a whole lot more. Back to the last session, right? Engagement, inclusiveness, right? We want to empower all the users in the room, not just the person doing the screen share, right? And so we've got a button here that says big screen. Well, what can I do with that? Close the menu. It's just an example. Open the menu. In fact, I can do everything I can do on the big screen app from my device. Again, that's empowering people, right? And hopefully I'll be engaged in the meeting. So, speaking of screen sharing, let's do some. And so I've shared out my screen here, and this we call the puck, right? And so it floats on top. It'll dock along the side. You can open and close it, keep it out of the way. So I'm not sharing anything very exciting here. Let's see what's in the news, right? There's typically some excitement there these days. And so what am I going to do? Let's touch the big screen. And this is what we call touch back, right? You went from the big screen down to my laptop, and it's making it do stuff. And I'm not a very good toucher, I'll tell you that right now. But that works just great. And, so typical screen sharing and touch back, we see that in other applications. We enhance that with what we call touch forward and touch through. So to get you going on that, let me just log into this device here. And I'll turn on screen recording just so that we can capture this for the screencast. Now, I'm going to share my screen here a couple different ways. I'm going to share it via Chromecast, it's an Android phone, and bang, we're there. And so let's go over here and see what the news says on this device. And as you can see, that is very hot. And so let's stop sharing there, and let's just close down everything. And I'm going to show you a different way of sharing. And that's with our app on here, right? App, not quite at feature parity at this moment in what we're going to put out for ISE. Feature parity with Windows, that is, but everything's in motion, right? And so first thing I'm going to want to do is connect in here. And again, we've got a number of ways of connecting. One additional way that we do on phones is with a QR code. So I'm going to go over to this guy. Hey, what's the QR code? And so basically what he's going to do is tell the big screen to show the QR code. And so then I can turn on my camera here and get it pointed up, and bang, it's found it and logged me into the meeting, just like that. And so what can I do from here? Well, let's do screen sharing from here first, right? So I can start sharing from here, and let's, oh, it automatically closed off and I turned it on. Let's turn that off, and, you know, let's go back here and check out the news here. And so, you know, we can do that, but it's getting to be kind of old news. Excuse the pun. So let's move into remote control here, because I have a touchpad on this phone as well. I can use it as a mouse, and so I can click over here. And so that's an example of what we call touch forward. I went from the mouse from the Android device to the big screen. Now, let's go over here. So we got touch back and touch forward. You put them together and you have what's called touch through. And what that means is I've interacted with the Android device and I'm impacting, you know, my teammate's PC, right? I've done something on there. And so that's extremely powerful. And hopefully I'm coming back to that theme of engagement, inclusiveness. This is not just passively sitting there. It's actually doing stuff. Let me try one more thing here for you. Basically, I'm going to, what I've done here is I've taken a screenshot, right? And, but the thing is, it's inkable. So I've done it up there, but the thing is too, I've got a touchpad on this guy too, right? So, you know, basically I can draw lines there as well and annotate it. And then basically what we can do is to share that out. And you see it sending the email there, and that'll arrive in my inbox, or whoever is joined and registered their email previously. So that's pretty cool. Let's do one more thing here. Let's go back to me sharing, right? So, you know, I can control who's sharing from here, but instead of sharing my screen, I'm going to now share a file. Well, let's just minimize this to get out of the way. Now, what's happened is we've opened up a file browser, and we have access to the local files on this guy's machine, which is quite cool. But then we've aggregated that with cloud storage. Which cloud storage, you ask? Well, one size doesn't fit all. Well, we're trying to do them all, right? And so that's pretty neat in that I can go in here and I can look through my files, find the one I want to share. without having to authenticate up here. Authenticate down here in private, nobody's looking over my shoulder, and ultimately I find the file, and I can push it out, right? And so what's happened is I've done my security down here, and I've already established the trust relationship. But now I've told I've effectively entrusted the Hub app with this one file, gave him temporary permission to open it up and use it. So that's what he's done, and we've opened this up in a web viewer, if you will, and we've currently at UCW have registered for to become a certified cloud provider or cloud storage provider with Microsoft, and so over the coming weeks we're going to get some cool access to additional resources, and this is going to get even slicker. But right now I can walk through my PowerPoint here, right? And so that's kind of cool. But what about this guy? Again, we want this inclusive experience here. And so I'll just walk in here. And so so this guy says, basically, I see what's up there, but, I don't like it. So let's edit this content and go over here, and he can say, I don't want step, I just want processes. So let's go in here, and he can basically just delete that out, right? And so the key point is, right, that we're, once again, this is an inclusive process. And so then just to make sure that that has saved, this guy closed it just now, but could have closed it here or there. But let's open that from over here, that same, and we'll open it locally, and basically step through it, and 5 processes, right? So beautiful. We've made the change. Again, that differentiator is the engagedness and inclusiveness of all of this. Okay, so let's go over here, and well, before we do, I'm going to just let me share out here again with, let me stop this, and I'm going to share out my screen here now instead of the content. Once again, let's bring up my old friend here, and I'm going to show you another feature that we have in here. Let me turn the screen off. And basically what we can do here is we've got a virtual laser pointer that we can include in here, and look at the entire page, right, or point at what we think is relevant. And I'm looking at the rain in Sammamish there. So let's kill that and move on. Let's bring somebody else to the party. I've got another MacBook here, and he's going to join via AirPlay. And so let's just turn that on, and he's got a YouTube video going here, which is cool. And then basically this guy, right, he can flip back and forth to whoever content he wants, and so that's nice. Let's bring in, we'll leave that guy running hopefully, and let's bring in another Windows PC here and wake him up and log in hopefully. And yeah, we'll start up a video on him. And in this case, we're going to join a few ways. Let's connect in here. Via Miracast. And so basically, there's our video via Miracast. Without an app, right? And so let's disconnect there. Then we'll try it a different way. We'll do it via Chromecast. And we can either, cast, we'll do the entire desktop again, bang, and share that out. And here we are, and once again, right, we can flip back and forth to boring me and the elephants, and then back over to that fellow there. And so then let's stop doing that, and I'm going to do it one last way here. So we stop that way, and I'm going to go old school, if I can find my cable. And, well, it's kind of old school, new school, because I'm using a USB-C cable here. It could be an HDMI, but let's use USB-C and plug that in, and typically it takes a second for it to wire in. And I can flip over here, and there we go. We're showing him in Miracast, or no, using the USB-C cable, and I can flip back and forth and over to the Mac and that. So hopefully that gives you a sense. When I talked about taking heterogeneous technologies and just making them work, right? So we make the technologies work together so you can work together with WEAV, right? Hopefully we have made that real. And hopefully also I'm starting to give you a sense of how we achieve that adaptive meetings, right? There's no, oh, you're at the front of the room and we all listen. No, you can self-organize however you want. And I think hopefully I've given you a sense of the inclusiveness that we've given. If you want to step in with an app, anybody can be in control. Anybody can share out, using their technology. And then the sum of all that is sort of engagement, right? Where people are they're not sitting there sleeping or thinking about what they're having for lunch. They're involved. And I got to tell you, right, by putting these technologies together, we feel we've really sort of created a platform. And that's pretty exciting because we're going to build in all sorts of capabilities on top of this over the coming months. So anyways, I'd encourage you to come and see us at ISC and or give us a call. Thanks.